So this is kind of the difference, so you know, between coaching and mentoring, and why it's really good as a mentor to know what coaching is and how to use it and when to use it, but also for the mentee to know that even if your mentor doesn't have all the solutions in the world, all the responses in the world, he can help you get there. Ask someone a question that starts with why, they get a little bit defensive, and it's really hard to answer. So it's really important when you are a mentor to try to kind of mask this kind of why questions into what questions. Besides that, there are also some benefits for the mentor. So the mentor also gets some pricks of engaging into this process, and this is kind of, they refine their skills, and they also have the personal development part. So they also develop during the mentoring, because they also get to face the challenges that the mentees face together with them, right? They also learn from the mentee, because usually there's always a different perspective. And when you as a mentor, maybe in your experience, looked at some things, you see your mentee looking differently at those things. And you remain engaged. So whenever like something happens in your mentee's experience, it also happens to you. So you're excited about it, you're happy about it. And of course, like you get this satisfaction of helping someone, of giving something without expecting anything in return. So you're contributing to others' benefit. And of course, like you remain connected to the active life of your local organization or national organization, because you're always like up to date to what's happening through your mentee, who is telling you their experience. And then of course, like you grow your network. And the benefit of mentoring in JCI, so the things that are from the can someone thank you is that we get more engaged members, they get more active, they are high performers, so they know how to respond better. Then we retain them for a longer time, because they have the support they need to go through experiences, and they're more efficient. We have better projects, so they implement better projects, and we have also sustainability, and we have a better know-how transfer, so experience transfer in JCI, which is one of the most challenging part of JCI, right? Because every year we change our leadership. So it's very important that somehow we do assure sustainability of the know-how transfer. And then we go to module number 3, and I promised we were going to be more engaged in the next part. So also in the Zoom chat, I would like you to write in one word, what does mentoring mean to you? Just one word. If it were to be like to define mentoring in one single word, what would it be for you? You can also unmute yourself and just tell me if responsibility, sustainability, guide. Amazing. Anything else that comes to mind? Guidance. Coach. Okay, we'll get to that. There is a bit of a difference between a mentor and a coach, but it's really good to have a bit of in each mentor, a bit of a coach. Okay, so thank you for sharing. If anything comes to mind, you can still write it. I'll be looking at the chat. Oh, and I would like to let you hear what mentoring is from one of my favorite authors, and a person that I really look up like to a mentor, which is Simon Sinek. Maybe you heard about him. He has some really good bestseller selling books like Start With Why and Find Your Why, or Leaders Eat Last. These are some of his most famous books. But I really liked the way that way that he defines mentoring. So I'll leave you with him for just 2 minutes.
Mentors at the end of the day are essential for us to advance. But I think most of us have a misunderstanding of how mentorships actually work. You can't simply email somebody and say the same reason you can't just go up to a stranger on the street and say, will you be my friend? It doesn't work like that. Mentor relationships are relationships like any others. And if I think back to the mentors, how I met the mentors that I have, they started off like friendships where I was introduced to them. I liked them. I guess they liked me. And I called them up for some advice and they took my call. And I called them up again and they took my call again. And then we went out for lunch and a real friendship evolved. And they always seemed to have time for me, not because they were required to, but because they wanted to. And I remember I was leaving the house of one of my mentors, Ron Bruder, and I put my arm around him as I was saying goodbye, and I used the M word for the very first time. I said, "I'm really glad you're my mentor." And he said something to me that I did not expect. He said, "And I'm really glad you're mine." And this is when I learned that great mentor relationships, both parties show up to teach and both parties show up to learn. And though we may be the advice givers, some of the time, the best ones want to learn as much from their mentees as they can give. And in other words, it's a true friendship. It's a two-way street.
See, mentoring is all about connection. So it's all about the the connection you have with between your mentor and mentee. And I just have a bit of a difficulty to go to the next slide for some reason. Sorry for this, guys. We kind of tried to check everything beforehand, but we had some technical issue even in the technical testing part. So it may be that we have some issue during the session, but here we go. So yeah, so for JCI mentoring, it's usually about orientating the member to JCI custom and procedures, to like I said, the organizational culture. It's about like describing like showing them how the JCI organization works, explaining to them maybe some cultural aspects, but also like some things that are very much related to the way that we work in JCI and are very much like unique in this kind of sense of organizational culture. And also like mentoring is also there to acknowledge progress, but also to see potential in people and to discuss, of course, and show support for the project, to motivate people, and also to provide positive feedback and encourage and so on, and engage, of course. So this is kind of what mentoring is in JCI. And like I said, like Simon Sinek just presented, I think it's really a connection between two people, which are we're going to see further on have a really good relationship. And one thing that when I was an ADC counselor and I coordinated the European program, we kind of discussed that for a mentoring program, you really have to have this sixth thing, to have improvement in both the mentee and the mentor, to see developments happening also in both people, to have them trained, to help them go through this experience, and also to see that their motivation level is rising, that they support each other, and that they inspire each other. So this is kind of the things that are quite attached to the process of mentoring. And now we're going to have a little bit of fun to see what could be a super mentor. So usually a mentor is someone who allows you to see the hope inside of you. So it's someone who sees your potential, who makes you be more confident in yourself and in your skills, and is there to support you, like we said before. And the main task of a JCI mentor is to do exactly this, to enable you to do everything to reach your objectives, to do everything that you need to reach those objectives, to make you understand of the things that maybe are uh, like you're curious about, but also the things that you really don't get regarding JCI or regarding some things, some ways that we are doing things in JCI. It's also their tasks to make sure that you're developing your skills and you're challenging yourself, and you also take this part of like taking advantage of your potential and making sure you reach it. And also develop a new mentors in long term. So they also the program is also responsible for this. Okay, and now I would like to send you into breakout rooms, and I would like you for 10 minutes to discuss what would make someone an ideal mentor for you, and what would make an ideal mentor for someone else. So I would like you to, maybe when you see, every time when you see the little camera in the left corner, just take a print screen or a picture, because that means that I'm going to send you in breakout rooms and you're going to need the questions on the screen, okay? So I'm going to just send you for 10 minutes. And afterwards, I will ask one person from each breakout room to please take the floor and introduce what was said in your room, okay? So see you back in exactly 10 minutes. Have fun, guys.
Okay, hi everyone. Right. Okay, so we are here to discuss the characteristic of a super mentor for 10 minutes. Okay.
So I think whether for the mentor, whether if you are the mentor or someone else is the mentor, that mentor should have the compassion and the initiative and the empathy to understand his mentee, his or her mentee, to uplift him towards his or her full potential.
Okay. Wait. Let me take note of that. Okay, compassion, empathy. Sorry, Ron, can you repeat it again? Or
He must have the compassion, empathy, and initiative.
initiative.
Yes. Oh.
Empathy, initiative. So how about the others? Mentor's characteristic. Is open to criticism considered as the characteristic?
Hello.
Yes.
Flexible.
I
Sorry.
think he means to say flexible. I'm not sure.
Yes. I think that is better word. Flexible. 5 more minutes. Okay. Okay. Any more ideas?
Honest.
Can you repeat that again, or you can just type?
Honest.
Sir, I think you can type in the chat box because your internet may be a little bit fluctuating. Yes.
Oh, okay. Bonus. Yes, could be. Happy initiative, flexible, honest. Anything that you guys want to add, or is this 5 enough to represent the super mentor's characteristic?
I think this is good already, unless there are some people, as the others still have other inputs.
Okay. Yep, I think we are good now. Okay, great.
Okay, I see people are coming back already. Is everyone back? Or are we still waiting just for a few people? Some of us are using our last seconds, huh? To the bone. Okay, so we have 10 more seconds. For everyone to join us back here. Okay, so room number 4. Let's see, who would like to speak first? From room number 4.
Yes, hello. Yes, hello. Hello, everyone. Hello, trainer. So I'm going to be speaking for all of us and behalf of the room 4. So we basically have this idea. So we have 2 questions. The first one is about what would make someone an ideal mentor for you. So basically the 2 of us were just using our phone, so we don't have a presentation to show, but we just come up with our own like perception on this. So what makes someone an ideal mentor for us? So basically we think as someone being experienced and being adept in the field that we're trying to learn from. It's trying to be like as well being knowledgeable on the things that we try to achieve. Like we have certain goals and really that's why we have mentoring. You know, we have this mentor and mentor relationship because we wanted to learn a certain thing. And also the second question, like, okay, what was that? Aside from that, we were trying to think like we wanted someone as a mentor to be like loving, not being judgmental, because we have different facings in learning. And others is like they don't want to be judged, but at the same time they want to be pushed to their boundaries. So we kind of like we have that same sentiment. It's like for us, it's like an ideal mentor for us, being able to learn at the same time being guided gently by how we actually do things, how we learn things, being really like guided towards that. And the second question that we have is like, what would make you an ideal mentor for someone else? So it's the same for us. We try our best to become a mentor for someone else. At the same time, like really learning the facing of the person, really pushing boundaries, but at the same time, we wanted someone to be really loving and being someone there for someone like as Simon Sinek said, it's like a friendship relationship, you know? It's like this genuine thing wherein you can be approachable at the same time you can approach the person. So it's a two straight learning really for the both of us. So I think that's all we have in our group. Thank you so much everyone for listening.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing, Fatima. And I would go to room number 2. Who would like to take the floor from room number 2 to represent the group? We had a lot of people there.
Hi.
So,
So, I'm gonna be the one that will represent group 2. So the characteristics that we discussed just now, there are 5. There are compassion, empathy, initiative, flexible, and honest. So these 5 characteristics that we think that it will make someone an ideal mentor. Yeah, that's all from us.
and for the second question, what would make you guys an ideal mentor for someone else?
Actually, we have the same answer for this.
Okay, so the same answer. Okay, thank you. Thank you for sharing, Kartini. Okay, and room number 1, I think I had 2 persons there, and at the last time just 1. At the last moment, so who would like to share from room number 1? In room number 1, we had Joanda, I think. I hope I pronounce your name correctly. EVP, would you like to share with us?
Sorry. Yes. Actually, I was in the breakout room one and I didn't see anybody else inside the room, so I leave the room. But I'll try to answer those questions. As an ideal mentor, I think the ones who should be in the same company as the mentees or in the same group as the mentees, or what we call as the alignment. Yeah, they should have the same direction. And then as a mentor, I think one should have integrity, and then they should be friendly with the mentee. And then as a mentor, as an ideal mentor, I think one should have the most experience that he or she has overcome in the company or in the group, so that he or she can lead the mentee well. I think that's all.
Amazing. Thanks for sharing. And not to put you on the spotlight there, but you are. What would make you an ideal mentor for someone else?
I think the first and the second question should be as the same answer. So I should have integrity. I should have the experience. I should have. I should be friendly, and then I should have been overcoming all the obstacles or all the problem I have faced before in the same company or group I have been there before. I think that's all.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for being so courageous to present your own view and being alone in the breakout room. I'm really sorry for that. I think I need to push people more to join the breakout rooms. So just to have you a bit like discuss what you all said, of course, like everything that you said, it's true. So we do expect this kind of things from our mentors to be experienced, to be kind of result oriented and so on, and to of course be like non-judgmental, to care about us, to also be like you said, ethical, so independent. And the thing is, so they do need to have some experience, but we don't really need them to be very experienced necessarily. So they can have their life experience, they can have some professional experience. It really depends on what you want as a mentee from your mentor. And this is where you mentioned, like at the beginning of the session, coaching. This is where a bit of coaching comes in, because like a really good mentor, like maybe they didn't face everything that you will face, and it most probably, like if you have a long-term mentoring relationship, you will get at a point where you are facing something that they never like came across before. So it's brand new for them as well. But having life experience, they could help you to find a solution to that challenge, to that problem, to that obstacle. So it's not necessarily that they need to have a lot of experience in professionally or in the organization or whatever. It can be life experience that will help you get across these challenges. Okay, and then it really is needed that they have a personal interest. So like you guys said, they care about you and they care that you will succeed. So they are kind of invested in you some energy, sometimes knowledge, and your success is basically their, return of its investment, of part of it, of course, not all of it, but a part of their return of investment. They also they offer this guidance, and this is kind of the basic difference between coaching and mentoring. When you are coaching, basically you do not really offer solution. You try to kind of get everything you can out of your client for solutions, and maybe you put out some challenges, maybe you provoke them to take some steps, but you don't really offer your expertise in that field. You just you coach them, you try to make them find their own way. But when you're a mentor, it's a bit different, because in a mentoring position, then you do have some experience and you can give some advice professionally. These are the differences between coaching and mentoring. So when you're mentoring, you do offer guidance. If you're a professional, so if my mentee comes to me and ask me about I don't know, financial issue or about a business issue, then I will give him my professional opinion, and which is of course based on my professional experience. But if one of my mentees comes and asks me if they should, I don't know, go to psychotherapy, I would then ask another questions to them to see why they need to, and I will try to coach them, because I have no idea if they should go, because I'm not a psychotherapist professional. I have no experience in that area to tell someone that they need or do not need that kind of services. So I would go on my coaching side as a mentor. So this is kind of the difference, so between coaching and mentoring, and why it's really good as a mentor to know what coaching is and how to use it and when to use it, but also for the mentee to know that even if your mentor doesn't have all the solutions in the world, all the responses in the world, he can help you get there. And I do have a personal experience. So that, as you know, I also have I didn't tell you actually, but I do have a mentor, and I did go with him quite in the last few weeks with the problem that I had and the frustration, and I was kind of very demotivated, and explained to him, and he knew that he never encountered that problem, because he's not coordinating a remote team. He never coordinated someone who was not paid for what we were doing, so he didn't have any experience in that field. But the advice that he gave me, because of his experience in management and his experience in working with people and so on, it really helped me get out of that situation. So it's really important that you do consider when you see your mentor, that if he has that life experience, it's all that he needs. He won't have the solution for everything, but he will find a way to support you and to help you if he's a good mentor. And then, of course, mentors help mentees achieve their success and to make their project achieve their results and objectives. So this is basically the definition of a mentor, of a super mentor, like we discussed before. And like you said before, the two questions, they kind of should be the same thing, because the thing that make an ideal mentor are the things that make you an ideal mentor. So who can be a mentor? Actually, everyone. So everyone can be a mentor for someone. Maybe you're not a good mentor for someone, I don't know, who is the same level at you, or someone who is, your superior, but you will be a good mentor for someone else. So this is very important to take in consideration. In JCI, we do recommend that the mentors in an official mentoring program are the senators, the alumni, like you said, like past international or national or whatever positions that we have, but also just active members and old members in the local organization, which didn't have necessarily a position before, could be great mentees, because they have a lot of knowledge, they saw a lot of things, they went through a lot of things, even if they didn't have those positions and those titles. It's really about experience and about caring about people, and it's about the relation that you have between mentor and mentee again. And what is kind of the mentoring success formula is to allow the mentees to think for themselves. So you do give advice, you do give solutions sometimes, but you really need them to have critical thinking. You need to leave your mentees once you, and it's kind of like, I know there is in Christianity, there is kind of this saying, when you give something, you don't need to like think about what's going to happen with that thing. So if you give a gift, you need to take your thoughts out of it. And if you see it in the rubbish bin after 2 days, you don't feel offended about it. So it's really about like giving your advice, but if your mentee doesn't follow it, you need to be okay with it, because they need to have this critical thinking. They need to be able to choose by themselves. Okay, this is also choosing by themselves and having this trait. It makes you a good mentor. And also try to ask for permission to give advice. So I know we're tended, especially when you're in a mentoring position, we have this tendency to, when they come with a problem to us, to immediately find a solution. But sometimes, your mentee doesn't really want a solution. They just want to complain. They just want to get the frustration out of themselves. They just want for someone to really listen what they're going through. So sometimes it's really, before you want to resolve the problem, just ask, like, do you want to hear my advice? Do you want to, like, and maybe they will say probably yes, if you have a good relationship, because they feel compelled to listen to you. But sometimes it's not always the case, that they are looking for a solution, and they just want to be heard. And then avoid making the mentee to be like you. So don't expect, like, I know that especially high achievers who are mentors, they are trying to transform their mentee into a high achiever, into something that they are. And the thing is, our mentees, they are very different from us. They have different objectives. And their priorities are different than us. Sometimes maybe even their values are a bit different from ours. So it's really not about recreating yours. It's about supporting someone else to be themselves and to reach their own potential, which is very different from yours. So it's really about like focusing on their identity and letting them be who they want to become and what they are. And then understand why others do things differently at that times change. So even if you really have a lot of experience, you may at some point have a mentee that is really different generation from you, has a lot of different I don't know, even education and style in which they are raised. And again, mentor and mentee. So for me, mentee is very close to me. Both of them are very as age. So it's really easy for me to mentor them, because we don't have this kind of vision or difference in between how to say, between ages. And so, but for my mentor, who is quite old, so he's a boomer, let's say, and for me, who I am a millennial, it's quite a difference between perspective. But he just the effort and to understand and to see what's the difference between him and my generation, and to accept that things are very different now, that I come from a different place than he went to at my age, and that I will perceive a bit different things. And he strives to adapt to this, and it's also for this is also a thing, because to readapt the current age and to readapt to the current generation. Okay, so this is kind of some things that you need to focus on when you are a mentor. And also you need to have rules and procedures. The mentoring is still a process. Even if it's about people, it's for people, and you have this social really strong trait in it, you still need to have some rules, some boundaries. So as a mentor, you must share your know-how and offer guidance, but not force application. So you cannot imply to your mentee, as I said before, for them to do things as you want. They need to, like, need to resonate with what you are saying. They need to accept it, and you also need to give them ownership on what they decide to do. Okay, and you need, of course, like for a mentor, it's really key that you follow up on things that you discuss with your mentee and things that he or she said that they will do. But it's like, even if you follow up, you don't do the work instead of them. So you need to like let them be themselves. Even if for following up, it's just a motivation tip. It's not like doing things instead of them. And of course, you must separate your personal opinion from facts. So I know, like, especially members who are in JCI, they have a very JCI. So you need to be very conscious about what your experience and what you think and your subjectivity could do to the mentoring process. And then, of course, like the mentoring forms, she or he recommends, but does not, like I said before, you cannot imply, you cannot force your mentee to do anything, even if it's abided by the regulation or it's in JCI terms. But you need them to operate. So even if you do want your best for your mentee and you do give your best advice, it's up to them to respect it. And I know, like, sometimes mentors do really take it bad if their advice is not respected, when they know that they are right, like in the name of the JCI constitution and so on. But it's not related to you, it's related to your mentee and who he is as a person. And as said before, you need to respect that. You need to respect the identity and who he is. And of course, like, you need to also have some boundaries regarding your time schedule, your meetings. You need to set everything up. It's essential for a mentor to have everything organized and so on. And of course, a mentor represents JCI, but it's not a JCI spokesperson. So he is not an ambassador of JCI. He is a JCI member with his experience, with, like I said before, subjective experience and so on. So it's really, you really need to do some clear guidelines when you create your mentoring program locally or nationally. Okay, and now we're going to go to the mentee part, and I would like you to write in the chat again, what do you think makes someone a super mentee? So we talked about what makes someone a super mentor, but what about mentees? What they need to do to be a super mentee? Let's see. This is really essential for mentors as well, because this way you'll know how to identify the best people that can be your mentees. So, any thoughts? What makes someone a super mentee? Willingness to learn, yes. A guy, this is interesting, okay. Devoted to change for better self, open to criticism. I would discuss this with open to criticism. I would say open to well, not negative feedback, but like to effective feedback, because like criticism, it's something a bit different. I have a special training for effective feedback if you ever want it, but personal motivation to improve. Okay. Continuous development, yeah, openness to learn and adapt. Okay, thank you guys. Yeah, those are actually things that I also search in my mentees. There are a few things more that I do look for. But like for some things, I really look that people are a bit eager and energized, and they have their own, like they know what they want and why they want me as a mentor. Proactive, this is the word that I really love in a mentee. So they need to be proactive. For me as a mentor, so of course, like the best mentors are always very busy. The mentors that have a lot of experience, the mentors that really care about their people, they usually are managers, or they are in leadership positions. They have really little time to spare, and so on. So it's really very important for them that the mentee has a proactive approach. And actually today I met with another colleague who is in this pilot project of mentoring in the European Parliament, and we were discussing that she is a mentee, and she said, my mentor never came back to me to schedule a meeting. And I said, yeah, okay, but did you ask him? Did you tell him that you want a monthly meeting? Did you ask him how he sees this process going? And the thing is, they never set those boundaries that we just talked before. They never did the mentoring guideline together, which is a thing that you need to do, you and your mentors, or you and your mentee, is something that you need to set together. Because a local organization mentoring process or a national organization mentoring process, it will be a very general guide on how to proceed with mentoring, and it will usually have only the matching up process defined at most, but it will be something very general. So you need to set the boundaries between you and your mentor or mentee. Okay, and some tips on how to get the most out of mentoring. So respect the time and energy of your mentor given in the process. Like I said before, usually good mentors are very hard to get, and they have a limited time to offer. So it's really important that as a mentee you do respect their time, but you also know like what to ask for, and to really go for what you ask for. So if you ask your mentor and he accepted that you will meet once per month, you need to go back to them until you do meet once per month, even with a busy schedule. Be proactive and courageous, ask for help. So don't, like, if you have a problem, and I do this a lot with my mentor, if I have an emergent decision to take and I need advice, I call him like immediately. I take the phone. I'm an introvert, just so you know, so I don't really like phone calls. But if I have a decision to make, I do call my mentor and I ask for it, and I listen to what he has to say. But afterwards, the decision that I take is mine, like I said before, and he accepts that I'm taking my own decision. And he always tells me after, even if I took his advice, I acted a bit differently, and I gave him the feedback, like, this is how I did it, this is what came out of it. And he always says, like, if I say thank you for for everything, for your advice and so on, he said, it's always your merit, like, you're the one deciding, you're the one implementing. I'm just here to support you, but the entire merit is yours. And this is also a really important part that you need to do as a mentor, to empower your mentee, to give them ownership of the result. Because in the end, you do have that tinty bit of contribution to their success, but it's actually theirs, and it's their full engagement and full energy that is devoted. I think as a mentee, we have to be an active listener, and most important is to recognize the importance of our mentor advice or time. I think we should be very conscious how lucky we are to have a mentor to listen to us, and also like to give us advice, and to give their time and energy for us. I think this is very necessary for us to be conscious about it, and also to show our gratefulness to the mentor. But also, yeah, so active listeners, but also I think as a mentee, you as a mentor, you need to be more of an active listener, even more, because like that's what you need to make sure that you understand what your mentee going through and what they really need from you as a mentor. And then schedule and agree upon the mentoring session like this I told you just now. So make sure that you do set the timeline and how you want to actually go with the mentoring process, and set specific and clear goals with your mentor, and tell him what you expect for it, and he should tell you what they are expecting from you. It's always like there is a saying that expectation is the mother of all fuck ups. So it's really important that you do set expectations at the beginning of the mentoring program, for one side and for another, and listen and always express your opinion and view. So if your mentor says something that you don't resonate with, you need to express it, and you need to say why, because that also helps them improve themselves, and it helps them to open up the box they are living in it. So it's really important that you have a really good communication with your mentor. So it's really important that you as a mentee are really a good communicator. And now I'm going to send you back to the breakout rooms. I'm just going to shuffle them up a bit. And you're going to have two scenarios. So room number two, you're going to have one scenario in which you have a second meeting with your mentee, and the mentee did not complete actions that they committed to in the first meeting, and now you need to discuss with them. So I would like to know what kind of questions you will ask, and what will be your approach as a mentor. Okay. So this is room number one. And for room number two, I would like you to, so you receive a mentoring assignment, a new mentee, related to a project that you have absolutely no experience in. And how would you approach this situation? So how would you act as a mentor in this situation? And you will have again 10 minutes for this exercise. I wish you to good luck and enjoy. So please take a screenshot of the request. So room number one will have scenario number one, and room number two will have scenario number two. Have fun.
Hi, VP.
Hi, Fatima. Okay. So, wait, I'm gonna share screen. Okay, since we are in the room one, so we get the scenario one. Second meeting, the mentee did not complete action they committed to during first session. What question will you ask? What is your approach?
I think VP, for me, the questions that I like to ask, if I'm like in my opinion in the scenario one, I think I like to ask the mentee, if I'm the mentor, basically in this scenario. I'm gonna ask like, what are the factors that make you not able to complete the action that I was able to ask you to do? So what are the circumstances or like the challenges that you encountered that you weren't able to actually complete or successfully complete this action? So I think those are the questions. An approach is like breaking down the reasons, or like why did the mentee wasn't able to achieve this thing, and what's the course of action, or like if the mentee needs like elaboration of the things or was confused about a certain topic, I think my approach would be like really like gentle in really dealing with it. Like, okay, what do you want to learn? Tell me what's something that you think you lack in completing those aspects. I think that's my approach for that scenario. Yeah, thank you so much.
All right. Okay. Okay. Hmm. How about the others? Maybe you guys want to share your ideas for this.
I think if VP is here, maybe like to like ask like say something.
Yep, sorry. Can you please repeat again what you say just
Oh,
now?
sorry, I think if VP Wanda is around, maybe he'd like to say something about the scenario,
Uh,
his own
yes.
perspective.
Maybe if VP Juanda or VP Stefana, if you guys have any ideas, feel free to unmute yourself or just type in the chat box.
I'm actually in the bus, so I don't think you can hear me, but I will type in the box what I think I would ask the mentee.
Okay. Okay, so is there anyone that wants to volunteer to share the ideas later on? Um, mm, mm, mm. All right, so I cannot agree to what Fatima just shared about the questions and the approach. So in summary, what we will share is, I think for the very first step, we should ask why the mentee did not complete the action. And the approach is, I think we should understand the mentee's conditions, and maybe we should ask again about what he or she truly wants to learn. Okay, 3 more minutes.
Yeah, unfortunately, VP is just the two of us because they're having this troubles with like the signal, and then Stefana is on the bus. So I think we both agree in this kind of stuff. Were they able to write in the chat box? like what they think about the scenario. Oh,
Yes.
Stefano was
Hello. Hello.
yes, EVP. Hello.
Is my sound clear?
Yes.
Okay, I would like to share my opinion about the scenario one, the first scenario. I think I will ask whether he or she, how does he or she feel after the first meeting? And then we already know that the mentee did not complete the action, right? So the next question will be, what things that make he or she could not achieve what he or she desires, or what he or she has committed to do during the first session. After that, maybe we can give motivation or something else accordingly to the what mentee needs. That's all.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so welcome back. Just a few people more, and we will be all here. Yeah, now we're all here. Okay, so I would like to give you guys the floor to tell me what you came up with. So I would give the floor to someone in room number 1 to tell me what were the questions that you threw around and how would you approach a mentee that did not do any of the things he said that he will do. This is very similar with being a project manager in JCI or in a leadership position in JCI. Huh? So let's see, as a mentor, how would you treat this situation? Who would like to take the floor?
Okay. It would be me from the room 1. So based on our discussions, for the very first step, we will ask that why they don't complete the task, or is there any maybe personal problems or any reasons behind the fact that he didn't do. So we try to understand his or her condition first. And we also would like to ask if he or she needs help with the task, or maybe needs more time, or is there any way that we as the mentor can help through the advices or resources. Yep, I think that's all from us. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you for sharing. I would like to discuss your inputs afterwards, but I would like to give also room number 2 the floor to tell us how they deal with a mentee a mentee that works on a project that they have no experience in. Who would like to take the floor from room number 2?
I would like to present or speak for the room number 2. So for this case is that the mentor is being inexperienced. So what we'll do is the mentee should be the one to be inquisitive and also to ask about the expert mentor in order for him or her to be guided, and also to be the one to satisfy his or her curiosity in order to be the one to help himself and also to make himself better, and to be the one to help and to be the one to execute the actions as per guided by the mentor that was the one who gave from the one who gave him or her inputs in order to make a good output when it comes to and a quality output when it comes to asking for help and also being guided by the inputs of the mentor. So that is all.
Okay, these are very good conclusions. But my question is, what do you do as a mentor? So how do you transmit all this kind of, because there are kind of a lot of expectations that you have from the mentee, if I understand correctly, in the case that you don't have any experience as a mentor. So how would you transmit this to your mentee? You can think about that room number two, because I'm not asking you now, but just to think about it. So what would be the your kind of approach to your mentee in the case that you really don't have any experience to their situation? And I want to go back a bit to room number one, because they had a really nice question at the beginning. They would say that they will start by asking why he didn't do the things that he said he will do. And the thing is, why is a very important question, because it really goes to the root of everything, right? It's a really very important question. But the thing is, it's psychological proven that if you ask someone a question that starts with why, they get a little bit defensive, and it's really hard to answer. So it's really important when you are a mentor to try to kind of mask this kind of why questions into what questions. So instead of asking why you didn't do this, you could ask, what's the reason you didn't manage to accomplish this task, or what kind of challenges did you encounter in accomplishing this task, or so on, just to try to avoid to make him defensive, because you're not there to judge him, you're not there to punish him if he didn't do a task. You're not his project manager, you're not his boss, you're not his mother, right? So you're his mentor, you're there to help. So it's really important that they get that sense that you're there to support. And if you're asking something why they didn't do something, they really should be focusing on the fact that you want to help, and not the fact that you really like taking their responsibility on the table to be evaluated, you know. So it's really important to also be a good communicator as a mentor, and to be conscious of how your style of communication affects the response of your mentee. And now we're going to module number 6 on how to find each other. So it's really important when you're a good mentor to find a good mentee, to have like best results, and also to find a mentee that really resonates with you and with whom you can really have a good impact on. So it's all about relations, like I said before, and there are a few things that you can really be like knowledgeable on, or to take into consideration when you are creating this mentor and mentee bond. And that is that at the beginning, at the real beginning, you need to earn each other's trust. So you need to trust each other. Then you need to define the roles and responsibility. Like I said, you need to set the boundaries and kind of create the guideline. And then establish the short time and the long term goal. Also, you need to establish what's the duration of the mentoring process. You know, it can be determined, predetermined, and it can last depending on what you both wish. And then to be focused on collaborative problem solving. So we're going to just take each of these topics and just kind of dive a bit into them. And regarding the trust part, so earning and giving trust, it's really important that it happens at the beginning. And at some point, if this trust bond is endangered by something or is broken, you need to understand that some mentorship processes, they do reach one point that they need to end. Even if you had great relationship, you had great results together, at some point, if this trust is broken, then that mentorship relation can be also at approaching its end. And it can start like with a get to know each other. It can create itself by you showing as a mentor care for your mentee, but also by the mentee showing that they do appreciate their mentor and what's shared with them, and the know-how and the knowledge and their the background that their mentor had. So it's also based on respecting each other, and like I said before, accepting that we are two different people. And also it's really important to understand each other's needs. So you need to, as a mentor, you need to understand the needs of your mentees, so why they are there, what they are expecting from you, and to create this kind of, the trust is also created by delivering on this expectation. That's why I said before, it's very important to set this kind of expectations at the beginning so you can deliver on them and to build trust. And also you can, as a mentor, you can build trust by appreciating, like I said before, your mentee, by giving them confidence, by showing them their potential. Because especially in JCI, you have a lot of people who have self-doubt, who are not very confident on their own, and you as a mentor can give this confidence and can like lift them up and encourage them to do things. And this is kind of like on the part of earning trust, basically from the mentor side. And from the mentee side, it's basically it's the same things but in a different direction, because you also need to understand what's the need of your mentor. Why is your mentor showing up there? What is he taking away from your session? Okay, because it may be that he's not there to necessarily to, you know, to share experience, but it's there because he really appreciates you and what you're doing. He really appreciates the project that you're working on, and he wants to see that project reach its objectives. You know, so it's really different, and you need to, as a mentee, you need to understand why is your mentor showing up. Then you really need to like guideline the roles and responsibility, and these are a few questions that you can use to do that. So what will the role of the mentor be? What is the role of the mentee? Like I said, set up expectations from due time, but also it's good to know, like in your mentoring guide, you can give some general instructions regarding this. And what are the responsibility of the mentor? So what is he going to do starting from the mentoring program until the end, and what are the responsibility of the mentees? If from the starting point you and your mentee or you and your mentor conclude that the mentor is going to send invitation for each mentoring session, and that you're going to, you know, just attend and discuss, that's how it's going to happen. If you said from the start of the meeting that he's going to do that, or that he's going to reach out to you every month or every week, or I don't know, every 2 weeks, to set out your mentoring schedule, then that's how it should happen. But it's very important that you do set this kind of lines at the beginning of the mentoring program. Also, make sure you establish short and long-term goals. So, like you said, you need to be active listeners, but you also need to assure the mentee that they feel safe with you, and you're not judging, like you said before, and the fact that it is confident what you are talking with them. So you're not going to go and, I don't know, tell other people what he or she is thinking or what she's saying in the mentoring session. You really need to be ethical about it, and about the what your mentee is sharing with you. You need to try to postpone addressing perceived barriers if emotions are high or mentee seems defensive. You need to know how to handle a bit that, and you need to value each other's feedback, and you need to accept when your mentee doesn't resonate with what you're saying, but also the mentee, you need to accept when your mentor is not resonating with what you're going to do. It's a two-way street always. Okay, and you need to be responsive to each other's feedback. So you need to either accept it, you need to have an opinion about it, you need to say if you're going to take action on it or not. Like I said before, feedback, it's very important. It's very important to be constructive. So that's why I don't really appreciate criticism, because criticism, it comes out of me not liking your behavior, not that your behavior is wrong. you know. So it's something, it's really different. Or not that your behavior is affecting your performance, or not that your behavior is affecting our organizational strategy or objective. It's just that I don't like it, and that's criticism. But like effective feedback or constructive feedback, it's something that you give because you want that person to grow, you want that person to have a better performance, you want that person to have a behavior that will help him succeed. It has nothing to do with my personal perception of that person, and it's his or she's behavior. Okay, so this kind of the two things that you need to take into consideration when talking about feedback. And of course, you need to have a collaboration on problem solving, especially when your mentee brings on the table a problem that they're dealing with. You need to make it together. You need to discuss it together. You need to identify the issue. You need to brainstorm the issue. You need to agree on a plan of action and the implementation together. As a mentor, you're not there to just give a solution and expect that your mentee is going to implement it. You are there to give maybe an opinion, to give an advice, like I said before, but you need to also give ownership to your mentee on the solution and the implementation. And if the solution you come up with in the mentoring session doesn't work, you also need to take responsibility together for it, and to really understand that maybe there's no like success 100% in anything, and that you couldn't calculate anything, and to analyze what went wrong, what you need to do now, what's the action that you can take together, and so on. And of course, you need to celebrate the success, and not only celebrate the success you get together, but try to celebrate the success your mentee has. It's very important that they do feel valued. And some JCI mentoring tips for you guys. So avoid creating dependency. When you're a really good mentor, maybe the mentee strives to come back to you with every problem, and they are kind of like, they don't want to take a decision by themselves. And this is really important as a mentor, to try to give them this independence. And like I said before, to let them think for themselves. Don't, like I said before, don't do the mentee's job. So if he doesn't do something, you can go and ask, okay, what do you need support? What do you need to get this job done? But you're not there to do the job instead of the mentee. They need to do it. It's their job. You at some point in your experience, or maybe in your life, you already did that. So it's not your job anymore to do it again. It's their job, and they're going to do it for you. Remember, your way may not be the best way. So like I said before, but this is a general thing, don't fall in love with your ideas. Just, give advice, but if it doesn't reach them, or if they don't, you can discuss it, why they don't like it, take feedback, give feedback. But if they don't implement it, they just don't resonate, and you need to be okay with it. As I said before, mentoring is a gift, and when you give it away, you should have no expectations of return from it. And last thing, seek advice from JCI officers or other mentors where you need some. Even as a mentor, maybe at some point you will feel like in the role play exercise, you will feel like you're not, experienced enough to deal with the situation your mentee is going through. And you can also ask your mentor, or get yourself a mentor to ask, just to have an opinion, or to, see the things from a different perspective. And basically, this was the JCI mentoring training. And I would, so we're past 7 minutes with our program, but I would give maybe 3 more minutes if you have any questions that I could answer. And afterwards, I would close the session and take a photo with everyone, and let you go, because I know in some parts of the world it's really, really late. So any questions for me? You can just raise your hand or write them in the chat or whatever suits you best, just unmute yourself. Thank you, Kartini. How to do the follow-up? What do you ask as a mentor? Okay, so basically, the follow-up is you should not like go, okay, how, like, did you do this? Or you know, you can just approach like, and you can set this, like I said before, in the mentoring session, you can set up this with your mentee. So especially if you're longer in the relationship, but even if you're at your beginning, you need to ask like, do you want me to follow up with you? Would this help you? Like, if I follow up with you, would this help you? Because like I, as a mentor, I am here to support you in any way that I can, and following up is one of the way that I can help with. So is this like needed by you? And if they said yes, then follow up, and you can just, you know, from time to time just ask, okay, do you need any help? What's the state of our project, of our implementation, of your tasks? So you don't need to go, you know, have you done this? So just, you know, ask, okay, where are you? Do you need support? Can I help with anything? You know, so just are there any challenges that you're facing in doing it? So this is kind of the follow-up questions that I would use if my mentee would say that, look, I need a bit of help. Can you follow up so I can get more motivated? Because let's be honest, sometimes we have tasks that we don't like and we procrastinate it, and then you need someone to come and like push you a bit to do it. So follow up is a really good motivational tool if you know how to use it. And okay, who is your JCI mentor and how did you meet him, her? Okay, so actually in JCI, I have a lot of unofficial mentors. So people who really helped me during my JCI experience along the years. And it's always like depending on my challenge, let's say, or on my role every year. I think my mentor changes a bit. So when I was at local level, I really had like the most senior and a founding member who was my mentor. And I know, like, even when I was local president, even when I was in the national board, I would go to her with my kind of my challenges and ask her about her opinion and so on. But it was never until, because like, just so you know, I implemented the mentoring program in my local chapter after I was local president. So during my local president year, so I never actually benefited in my local chapter of the official mentoring program because I was already like past. I was already in the national board when I was there. So I was a mentor in my local organization, but it was unofficially. I had this founding member that I could always go to. And now as a national president, I really see as a mentor my vice president, who is Nelle from Belgium. Because like she's always there when I have a challenge as national president. I know I can discuss it with her. She has the experience of national president, so she's been through a lot of things similar to what I'm going through, and so on. But also I really appreciate the mentor that I have at my workplace, which is not a JCI mentor, but has a really huge experience in management. And I discuss with him also work related things, of course, but also JCI related things, because at some point, you know, they correlate because you're working with people in both sides. So I have a really huge amount of mentors that, or people that I do consider mentors, but not all of them are in an official program. And in JCI, actually, I do have a mentor for my national organization. So as I coordinated last year the European mentoring program, I did kind of ask my board this year, my national board, if they would like to participate in it as mentees. And they agreed, and we do have a mentor. She's called Patricia. She is from JCI Italy, but also a member in JCI Switzerland in Europe. She's a senator. She has a lot of experience in HR. And she was so she's old now. She's a senator, but like she reached the level of international vice president. So she has a lot of experience in JCI. She has a lot of professional experience, and she's kind of our official mentor in JCI. Okay, let's see. I am Mohammed Badawi, okay, EVP. Thank you very much for this exchange. I appreciate every part of it. Sorry, I am trying to improve my English, so that's why I'm not really talking. I would like to know what's the difference between mentor and mentee and how to identify each other. So the mentor is the one basically more experienced and giving the support to the mentee, who is the one that kind of, you know, is, like I said before, it's seen as the beneficiary, like we said at the beginning of the session. So it's really important that again, like the learning opportunity is for both, the adaptability and the development opportunity is for both people. It's just that the mentor comes with the willingness to help and support, and the mentee comes there with the willingness to learn and to adapt and to be like open to everything, every discussion. Yeah, you can definitely do SFAC mentoring program, and I'm sure that the EDC would share their guidelines with you if you wanted to. I like for EDC, I know that they did a very, so I just coordinated the program, but it was already set. I just enhanced it a bit last year, developed it, but it's already been set, and it's very general and it's very flexible, and I think it's really a good guideline to go to. Okay, any other question? If not, I would thank you so much again, JCI Medan and Kartini and all the organization that were mentioned and that hosted this training. And thank you so much for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to share my knowledge and my experience with you guys. And I really hope that it will help you in the near future to be amazing mentors or amazing mentees, or implement your own mentoring programs.
All right, so I will take over as the MC because Rebecca has some meeting with the National Vice President. So yeah, once again, thank you, NP Alexandra, for the dedication and precious time of sharing how should be a great mentor and mentee. And we have something for you. So this is our token of appreciation with lots of signature here. Yeah, because we are partnering with lots of co-hosting chapters for this event. And yep, so let's switch on the camera and let's take a photo together. Okay. All right.
Thank you so much, Kartini.
Thanks, Anthony. Okay, let's just on your camera so that we can capture your handsome and beautiful faces here later in the photo. Okay, VP joining here. All right, so 1, 2, 3, and cheese. Okay, once again. 3, 2, and 1. All right. Okay, thank you for your time. Thank you everyone for participating this training till late at night. I believe that's 10 o'clock and almost 11 o'clock in evening for some countries. Yep. Really appreciate your time here. Okay.
Thank you for joining. Enjoy your evening, everyone, or day, or morning.
Very much.
It's night. It's evening in Asia. Okay.
Enjoy. Bye.
Bye.